Good evening, everyone. You're listening to the Voice of Saskatoon, and I'm your host, Rashid Ahmed. What a day today, I will say. Like, it's freezing and minus 30s temperature, and it's common, like in Saskatoon. I was talking with Michael, so, like, it's like Anthony was saying before starting, like, it's minus million. So, yeah, it's a very cold weather right now in Saskatoon, and I hope you are staying safe. And yeah, just some safety moment before we will start our show. So it's cold outside. Just make sure you're layering up when you're going outside. And there are many organizations where you can go and find shelter. So all the details are actually on our Facebook page as well. So if you're looking for more information, you can find it on our Facebook page or City of Saskatoon EMO website as well. So before any delay, we will start. And I really appreciate Anthony and Michael for giving us time in the evening, late night. And we will be excited to learn more about upcoming event, which is actually tomorrow. And so I will start the show with the introduction of our guest who is joining us from Ontario. Michael Pinnock has distinguished himself as an astute accountant providing assurance and consultancy services to organizations and businesses, both local and international. He has built solid, consistent relationships with clients and offers timely, valuable, and practical solutions to their business needs. A native of Jamaica, Michael immigrated to Canada in 2002 and has spent the initial 10 years with York Region in its corporate finance department, where as a senior budget advisor he played pivotal role in supporting a number of initiatives as subject matter expertise. Michael is a firm believer in giving back and uh, volunteering. Michael's hobby is to support charities and not-for-profit organizations by providing financial statements, audits, and financial advice. Thank you, Michael, for joining us today. I know it's pretty late in the evening over there, but thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. And let me just kind of bring you up to speed. I'm actually in Calgary.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
No, you
like
don't
you're
have to
in
be
Ontario.
sorry. Normally we work out of Toronto, but as we go through this interview and discussion tonight, you'll see that the Black Business and Professional Association is actually on an outreach to the nation. And we start with the eastern provinces and Nunavut. So I'm actually in Calgary because of some weather challenges and mechanical issues with plane, but I
Yeah.
should be in Saskatoon tomorrow by about 11 o'clock.
Awesome. Well, we are looking forward to welcome you in Saskatoon. Just to let you know, it will be cold again tomorrow as well. So layer up, and yeah, I think Anthony and his team will give you a warm welcome in Saskatoon as well.
And you know what, Rashid? We had our special weather clothes because we're in Nunavut. And I
Oh yeah,
sent them all back to Toronto yesterday because the last time I was in Calgary about a week ago, it was Toronto weather.
yeah.
So now it's a real weather. So, we have some soup, but I'm going to depend on Anthony to come out with the heavy hitters to deal with it.
Well, thanks, Mike. And our second guest, very famous in Saskatoon, and he also came to our show a couple of times ago, and like so many initiatives by his organization. So Anthony Oloshola is the executive director at Truly Alive Youth and Family Foundation, a Saskatoon-based Black-led organization. Anthony also serves as a chair of Saskatoon Black Canadian Alliance Network, a working group comprising of membership drawn across and across Saskatoon Afro-Caribbean communities with a focus on advocating for better life and livelihood for Black Canadians and showcasing Black excellence. Anthony is committed to applying his post-secondary education in multiple interdisciplinary fields, an array of professional certifications and expertise, and over 15 years experience in youth and family services to growing engagement and building new understanding, especially it relates to immigrants and indigenous relations, and developing tailored strategies for supporting ethnic visible minority communities, primarily in Saskatoon and area and nationality. Thank you, Anthony, for your time, and
Thank you,
welcome
Rashid,
to our
and
show.
always an honor to be on this platform. And thank you for all the good work you do for Saskatoon local community and beyond. Now we've taken Saskatoon to Ontario and I would say nationally.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time, and we are eager to learn about tomorrow's event. As Michael said, like he will be in Saskatoon. So, can you tell us about Black Business Professional Association and the cross country outreach campaign coming up in Saskatoon tomorrow?
So thanks again, Rashid. And so I'm the treasurer for the what is called a Black Business and Professional Association. And like Anthony's association, our primary objective and goal is to assist the Black community, but all communities, with a primary focus on assisting the Black community. And we choose to do it through a economic lens. So our objective is to work with businesses to ensure, because one of the challenges we have in the Black space in terms of business is underserved or lack of networking, underserved or lack of capital, underserved or lack of processes, know-hows, um, access to loans and stuff like that, access to financial literacy. So we take as our mandate, and we've been delivering on this mandate for the last 39 years. We're actually going to celebrate our 40th year next year. I, for one, has joined the organization over the last 2 years, and I'm trying to make a difference in that space. So that is what we do as a core function. We do ancillary stuff because anything that affect the Black community, or what we call now the bespoke community, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And as I say, it's open to all communities, but with a focus on the Black. We do that. This particular program that I'm going to elaborate on later is called Baids, Business Advisory Implementation and Development Services. It's a brand new concept in that what we're trying to do here is we identify the small and mid-sized Black organization, Black businesses. Together, we decide on what help they need. We provide the resources to help them, and we also pay for those resources. So, being a national organization, and this program started back in November last year, and we got it scaled up June of this year and in full swing as we speak. Part of building the awareness, building the participation is to go out to the provinces and territories and meet with the actual folks. So from November 19, we start that program, and we are at the for the western part of the Canada. Saskatoon is our last stop, which is tomorrow, and then we do the eastern one later in February and March of next year. Even though we have been to Nova Scotia because we had to do a quick jump to support a sister organization called Bbpa, BBI. So we went over there, we're over west, and then we just jump over Nova Scotia, take the opportunity to work with an organization like TIFE here, and then we come back west. So I can elaborate a little later, but that is essentially what we're here to do right now. Proceed.
Thank you, Michael. And this is a great initiative, and whoever is listening, they can join tomorrow. It's a great event for the community. Anthony, would you like to add anything on that part?
Thank you, and many thanks to Michael. Saskatoon, as we've come to know of it, is one of Canada's hidden treasure that is now known to the rest of the world. And as people live across the country, there are a lot of Black communities in Saskatoon as well, as you would every other nationality or people of countries of origin who live here. But I hope you'll agree with me, as Michael mentioned, that The Black communities go through or experience an array of, I would say, alienation when it comes to social and economic outcomes, unlike their counterparts. However, they are members of the community. They pay their taxes, they vote, they raise kids here, they do everything like anyone else. And as such, there is no need, there should be no reason as to why they are lagging behind, or any society, if you will, or any community, lagging behind in growing by way of reliance, self-reliance, economic opportunity, and equitable distribution of resources. And as an organization, Truly Alive Youth and Family Foundation, enshrined in our work is support for Black communities in Saskatoon and area. And we're always devising means and opportunities to growing this engagement locally, provincially, and nationally. And you can see what that partnership is bringing to Saskatoon tomorrow. So as we progress, I'll be able to say more with regards to what we do. I mean, at Truly Alive Youth and Family Foundation, in relations to supporting Saskatoon Black communities.
Some thank you so much. And yeah, my second question is actually aligned with that answer too. So, as a Saskatoon-based organization, could you share some insight on the role of Truly Alive Youth and Family Foundation is playing in bringing the national officers of the BBPA to Saskatoon and purpose of their coming?
Thank you so much, Rashida. And just building on what I just said, our organizations serve all. You already know that. As a local organization, by way of being based in Saskatoon, our outreach span across Saskatchewan, and nationally. But our focus is to ensure that individuals and families across ethnic and visible minority groups and communities see a need to feel truly alive. I hope you'll agree with me that it's not enough to be surviving. Each individual wants to feel alive. And what makes me feel alive may be different from someone else. Mine could be that my idea matters. It could be that I can think of a business opportunity and know that I'll receive support to actualize my business plan and goal. It is for my offsprings or children, as the case may be, to see a need to dream because they see people that look like them, people that speak like them, who own businesses in their communities. So with the upon this premise, you'll see that it's integral to the work we do at Truly Alive to continue to grow engagement with local and national partners on how we can bridge gaps across different structure, and to also provide access to information. Information is life. And if you do not have it, then it's difficult to move from one point to another. So, as an organization that caters to closing gaps, addressing issues by way of service gaps, and developing tailored support, we find it, and in fact, we see it very necessary to bring partners and collaborators like the BBPA to address Saskatoon Black communities. And of course, by extension, anyone across ethnic minorities who may be having challenges when it comes to growing their business, startup business, uh, small and medium scale business, and even those who just feel, I don't even know how to go about it. But primarily, the goal is to see how we can use Black professionals, Black industry experts to support Black businesses. More or less what I would call for and by. You see what I mean? Because there's a lot of professionals who are Blacks across Saskatoon, across Saskatchewan, across the country. But oftentimes there's little to no light being shed on them. And there's been quite a number of folks who would have started initiative and eventually just dies a natural death because of lack of connection to resources and even financial support. So we feel it's important to showcase Black excellence, not only by way of the history of Black people, but also sustainability of Black existence through economic opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a great platform for all the business person or like looking for a business opportunity to come and join and learn a lot of things and a good networking event as well. Michael, do you want to add anything on that part?
Yeah, certainly, Rashid, and thanks to that eloquent presentation by Anthony there. I want to raise two comments. First one is the experience of Black throughout the country, or throughout the world, is similar. The challenges we have in Ontario, the challenges we have in Toronto, are similar challenges Black folks have in Saskatoon or in Saskatchewan. And so we coming out to work with them is just a natural extension of what we're doing. Because businesses, Black business challenges in Ontario is the same Black businesses challenges in Saskatchewan. And because they're the hidden treasure, it's probably even worse because they're not naturally or normally heard of. And so we coming is a logical extension of what we do. Second comment is the federal government made an announcement in September of 2020 that they're going to be infusing, just for the very reasons that Anthony mentioned there, because of the distinct disadvantage and handicap the Black community and people of color, minority groups found themselves. They have to make a special effort to at least bring us close to par. We're not even going to be on par, but close to par. They're going to invest at the time, it was $221 million in what they call the Black Ecosystem Fund. And that announcement broke out those fundings into three components. There was about either 53 or $56 million in what they call contributory fund. That is grants they'll give to Black-owned, Black-managed, Black organization to assist them in capacity building, to build network, to build resources, to identify supports that they can reach out to. Then there was what they call the loan component. The federal government would bring 33 million, and the chartered banks, a bunch of the chartered banks, TD, RBC, BMO, those traditional bank, national, etc., would then come and sort of leverage another 128. And then there was a final component, what they call a knowledge hub. And the idea of the knowledge hub was to work with people like Anthony and myself and different people throughout the country to build, to remind us of kind of a Black history. That where we found ourselves is not where we was. We were by direct design and structure placed there. And we're kept there because of the system. And this knowledge hub was to sort of bring the history up and to kind of change the narrative. Because if you know your history, you're better able to make a difference going forward. So that is the ecosystem, the Black ecosystem funding. And that is the funding that we're working in. We in the Bbpa had started this Baids program prior to the announcement of that funding. And we went out to places like RBC and TD, HSBC, one of these an insurance company. Those were our first initial partners. And the idea was we see the gap, not just in Ontario, not just in Toronto, but we know there are gaps from BC all the way to Newfoundland. And we also know that there are Black folks there. And I'm just going to tangent a little here to talk about our experience in Nunavut. Or Nunavut, I keep messing up the pronunciation. But when we were in Manitoba, talking to Black folks, and they say, where next is your outreach? So we're going up north. And they say, where are you going? There's no Black folks. I say, yes, we have links with a few folks and we talked to them. I know there's a Black community there. But I tell you, when we landed there, I think it was a Friday night or a Friday evening, the first person to meet us at the entrance to the building, because it was very cold, so you run from the plane and you go into this big, nice, warm building. You would have thought you were in Africa.
mm,
A gentleman there, about 70 plus, broad smiles, welcome us. He has spent, you see, the better part of his life
mm,
in Nunavut. And he said to us, there is money in the ice.
mm,
That was his explanation. And we met with a whole bunch, there's over 300 black folks up there running business. And we're going to have this, we had a similar outreach like we're going to have tomorrow, where we sit down and we talk about the challenges that our folks want to do. Um, all sort of different business. There's these spas up there. People want to get into the shipping business. People want to get into the moving business. People want to extend and do work outside of Nunavut. So what they call the South, which is everything else, and also international. So the 2 points is that first, the challenges, the experiences, and the opportunities to make a difference is throughout the country, not just in Ontario or in Toronto, but it's in Saskatoon. And this Baids program has 2 components to it. The main one we push is assistance to the small and mid-sized business for them to either convert an idea into something that they can implement and make money. They can sustain their current business, because even though we seem to be at the back end of the pandemic, we're still in a pandemic. And the black businesses suffered the most disproportionate to every other section in the pandemic. Sustain, or to grow your business, or to scale up. You want to move out, you want to go international. So that component we have. The second component is, as Anthony mentioned, we do have black professionals. I'm a chartered professional accountant. I have a license to practice in North America, Canada and US in particular, and I have a license to practice in the Caribbean, where I'm from. All of the Caribbean islands I can practice, especially English-speaking ones. The French and the Dutch and the Spanish and so on, I have to do a little different stuff there, but all of the English-speaking Caribbean islands I can publish. And we know we also have black marketers and black lawyers and black e-commerce and black website designers, black truckers, black real estate. And so the other component is to engage those professionals in delivering the services, as Anthony said, by us, for us. And it's not because we want to do it in isolation. First of all, the major funding from the feds is designed to do exactly that. It's designed to ensure that the money gets into the black space and remove those gaps. But at the same time, it brings to the fore, and again, as Anthony mentioned, the treasure. It's there. It has been suppressed for a while, and we're now trying to change that narrative and to change how we do things. So in terms of building generational gap, our kids will see people that look like them doing things that they weren't used to doing and know that it can be done. And so those are the 2 components to the Baids program.
Thank you so much. And I just got a message from one of my friend, and he's asking like, are you planning to help people who own business internationally as well?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. It may be a little challenge right now as to how we do it, because it's really designed to be a Canadian stuff. But we also know that the government of Canada have a recent thing with women in export. They're also pushing export, and international is always either selling or receiving, which has to do with import or export. So the answer is yes. But we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. The government gave us this initial funding, and it's a 4-year window, and it's actually pandemic-driven, and it can continue depending on how well we run the program and demonstrate to them.
And if I can add to that, if I can quickly add to that, one of the things that is, and thank you, Michael, I don't think I can build on what you've just said. So thank you for that great explanation. And of course, it speaks to the wisdom and the talent, and I'll say the intellectual capacity that the Saskatoon Black community or Blacks across the country in Canada possess. One thing that stands out for the Black communities, and I suppose the same is true for ethnic minority groups, is that our connection is not only to our friends and families in Canada. Many, if not all of us, still share certain ties to our roots. And Michael already said that he can still even practice with his license out in the Caribbean,
And
right?
I'm still doing
And
that.
he's still doing
Still
so.
doing
So
that.
that's who
Doing
we are,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So to whoever may have asked the question, in as much as there may not, as Michael mentioned, there'll be probably some process to go through, and of course, the funding has to follow the government requirements and process as the case may be. But as you read out in Michael's bio, there's a lot of pro bono services that Black communities or Black individuals do.
Yes.
I do that almost every day when I talk to folks overseas, right?
Yeah.
So there may still be that opportunity to provide that I would call it intellectual property kind of support, because it's not only when you receive funds that support is being offered. There's also that bridging information gap kind of support services. So I think, Michael, I probably think I have the executive decision or executive ability to share that.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I just want to say thanks for having us here, Rashid. And because one of the stuff as I go out and I speak to people, I believe strongly in history. I did finance and I was an engineer. Well, I'm an engineer too. I just pivot to finance, half my life, actually more now. But I always believe in the strength of knowing the past because it's neither good nor bad, it's the past. And you learn from the things that work out to have bad impact. And you should grow the things that had good impact. And so as you look at how we got here and what we're doing here, it tells us, it advises us, it informs us as to what is it we can do to make a difference. You talk about the data earlier. That is one of the key. Information is one of the keys. Has always been a key. But now it's so available. I remember when I was doing my master's, for example, we had to share one text, and it was in the reference library. And when we wanted to get things, there was a thing they called Nexus. Lexus. You put in some buzzword, and it pointed to a couple of books that have the phrases. Now, everything you need to know, now you go Google or you go whatever and it's there. There is no excuse for people not to know, except in our space, there's an historical challenge. And we want to change the narrative where we say to people, you can do your own research. And then you can get professionals like me and Anthony to help you make that last push because we have been through the academics and what have you, to kind of train the mind to think a certain way. But our challenges are common, and so is also the solutions and the opportunities. They are common.
Thank you. As we are talking about information sharing and information importance, so I do have a question. Are there local efforts to bring together Black business owners and Black-led organizations for knowledge leveraging and resource sharing and to grow visibility across industry?
Yes, Rashid. Thank you for that very important question. There are a whole lot of Black organizations or Black-owned entrepreneur enterprise and businesses, right? But there's so far not so much visibility. I'll put it that way to most of these businesses, and a whole lot of people, I would say, are considering maybe even forgetting about it because there's only so much you can do without access to resources, access to financial support, access to business loan, many of which are the challenges faced. So there's the effort to bring people together, to bring business owners, industry experts together, right? So there's that local effort. It's still brewing. One of the ways Truly Alive is kind of like addressing that is through the Saskatoon Black Canadian Alliance Network that our organization serve as a conduit for. And at that table, we have Professor Emerita. We have individuals working in the government, even with the provincial government. We have blacks who are lawyers. We have blacks who drive taxi for a living. We have blacks who are who own auto mechanic shop. A reflection of who we are as a people. And that's the thing, it's not enough to just bring people who may have gone through academic journey and thinking that that's not us. We are everything. We are homemakers. We are auto shop people. We are executive directors. We are professors, right? And that's who we are. So there's that effort locally, and that's already coming up with Truly Alive. But that's one way. There could be many more by way of bringing business experts, business professionals, entrepreneurs together. And we're working also with SREDA, which is Saskatoon Region Economic Development Agency, to see how we can even grow that further. So stay tuned. But the size, I hope you'll agree with me, of a community oftentimes is the reason as to why it may not even receive as much support. Michael alluded to that, right? Not many people even know about Saskatoon. And oftentimes, folks who you tell people from overseas who live in Saskatoon, they're like, where is that? You say it's in Saskatchewan, they're like, oh, are you sure you're in Canada? Because they don't even know, right? Most people know of Calgary, Ontario, by way of the province, and then they nail it down to Toronto, and that's all there is, right, in their minds. So, but a lot of people come here with business ideas. I put it to you that almost every Black person, male or female alike, must have done some level of business in their home country. I put that to you before coming here. But many are not able to go beyond their vision, their plan. It just dies a natural death. So we are hoping that with this outreach, a whole lot of individuals from Saskatoon business community, um, entrepreneurs, those who are still conceiving the idea, as the case may be, will come out and learn of what they can do, how they can be supported. And maybe this will even be that step into really solidifying the Saskatoon Black Business Action Group or Working Group, or whatever term we may want to call it.
Thank you so much. Um, and how can any of our listeners learn more about Truly Alive Youth and Family Foundation and its work in relation to Saskatoon Black Canadian Alliance Network?
Thank you so much. There's a lot on our website, www.trulyalivefoundation.org, that talks about the work we do. If I have to start talking about it, we may not give this interview discussion tonight. We work from supporting youth to engaging indigenous and newcomer communities in growing new understanding. We work a lot in the area of anti-racism, anti-oppressive. Our work span across pre-employment support, senior program, um, you know, encouraging youth and families and individuals alike to build intercultural and inter-heritage learning opportunity, right? Because your heritage is your heritage, and
Yeah.
and we want people to grow in valuing that. So we do a lot. And as regards Black communities specifically, the Saskatoon Black Canadian Alliance, as I earlier mentioned, is a composition of Afro-Caribbean communities in Saskatoon. You see, I've been saying Black communities because that's who we are. We have different communities making the community, and we'll pay attention to that at that table. We do a lot of work around advocacy for Black communities. We engage with government level departments, and in fact, including the municipality of Saskatoon, to see how we can grow engagement and improve economic and social outcomes for Saskatoon Black communities, and for youth in particular to have a reason to feel this is home, to not be afraid to go to school, to not be afraid to say they are Black, to not to not be shy to speak their native language and to believe that they can have competitive edge when it comes to career and academic pursuit. So more like the work we do is not only for people who are currently here. Our vision is also to see how we can create a space, safe space, welcoming space, and participatory space for generations that are not even here yet. It's not enough to be safe. We have to participate, right? So I can be in a safe space where I just sit down and I feel comfortable. That's not enough. It has to be participatory, and that's what we're pushing for.
Well, thank you so much. And it's almost over time, but I will ask any final words regarding tomorrow's business advisory, implementation, development services, outreach campaign. I will start with Michael.
Yeah, and before I do that, I'm going to take a little of your time just to consolidate and to appreciate and to support what Anthony has just said, because collaboration, the reason why we're here is to build collaboration. All the things that Anthony just mentioned is not unique. As human beings, those are the things that we have, but we have found ourselves, not by accident, in a state where we have to keep reminding folks that we should have the opportunity to go to school, the opportunity to dream big, the opportunity to do a lot of stuff. And it's through collaboration why the Bbpa is now out in Saskatoon to meet with folks like Anthony and folks who we hope will come out tomorrow. And we will demonstrate what is it we can make available. What we're trying to do at this stage is we have been good at the talks, and we're trying now to match the walk with the talk. And that is why we're here. The final thing I'd like to see is you mentioned that folks came here with a dream and the dream died for whatever reason. I can tell you there's a saying back home: healthy, wealthy, and wise. It's part of a larger phrase, but I always remember those three things: healthy, wealthy, and wise. Immigrants who have migrated in the last 20 or so years, 30 years to Canada, you have to be healthy. You go through rigorous medical stuff. And if one member of your family fail, the complete family fail. You have to be wealthy. You have to come with reasonable money to support you for at least 6 months. And you damn better be wise. You have to come with some good academics that the country say they required. So definitely, Anthony, folks who migrate, who came here, wanted to extend their dream. And to the extent that they have not been able to do that, that is a gap that we have identified and we're trying to fill by reminding them of what they came for themselves and for their kids and the next generation. As you see, it's not enough just to be available. You have to be available, but you have to participate. And tomorrow night, we're going to demonstrate how folks, in a practical way, can participate in their own development with assistance from the feds and other people who like us on our own. But we will take, as I say, our program, I hear me talk about it tomorrow, it's not a granting program and it's not a loans program. We consider it an investment in the community. And investment should yield returns. And we're open that 2 to 3 years from now, we will see the returns on that investment. Larger businesses, more sales, more profit, more wealth generated, and stay in the Black community. So our sons and our sons will have to work as hard as we are now, but they can live from the intergenerational wealth and keep it multiplying. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And Anthony, any final words from you?
I just want to say thank you, Rashid and Michael. You give me goosebumps when you when you say these things, and I just want to say that thank you to you and to Nadine and Roderick and the entire team out in Toronto, and thank you for the work you do and for the outreach to us, and knowing that as the African I'm an African man, so it's hard for me not to have an adage. As an African adage says that the sun does not forget to shine on a village just because of its size. In other words, the size of a village will not deter the sun from shining there. It doesn't matter if there's only two people in that village, the sun is going to shine there. And it doesn't matter if there is a billion people in a place that experience sunshine. So thank you for recognizing the importance of taking it outside of Ontario and knowing that there are Black people everywhere across the country. And my next appeal will be to Saskatoon Black communities, individuals, business owners, uh, potential entrepreneur, to please come out tomorrow and listen for
Remind me of the address. You have got the address there, Anthony.
That's
Just
right. The address is at 308 4th Avenue. That is at Le Relais. It's the French community out in on the 4th Ave, just behind the City Hall.
yes.
We will be for sure following strictly the COVID-19 measures. So anyone coming will have to be fully vaccinated, and we will need to see the proof of vaccination and the government issued ID in order to gain access into the venue. So that's very important to state. So please come out, learn for yourself how you can be supported, and in fact how you will be supported. Right. So there's and I like how you put it. It's an investment. It's not just there's going to be financial support, but it's not a handout. It's
No.
an investment. It is to grow you, to grow your business, and hopefully so you can pay it forward.
And that is, I just leave that for the last because all we're looking for from both an organizational level and as an individual Black person in that space is that once you have been successful, you now become a benefactor so we can play it forward. When folks ask us, oh, when government money runs out, what is it you're going to do? I'm way ahead of the game because that lump sum of money they gave us as an investment will be multiplied. So we don't need another lump sum of that. We will take it if we get it. But we're taking this 5 million and we're going to make it the 500 billion by turning it around. That's what they tell us in finance about the stock of money in distribution. You don't need to have $1 billion just because you need to spend $1 billion. You just need to have a million 100 times. Just have it turning around 100 times. So that is what we're going to do. Come out, ask the question, participate, bring the tough questions, because when we go back, one of our impact measurement is folks start, and it's going to say this, I know I'm biting into your time, but it's going to say this here. When we started the program, folks thought it was aggressive. 325 Black businesses in 4 years, that's where they. As I sit here tonight, we have got 500, and we started just in May. So we have blown a 4-year budget in less than 1 year. So we know the Black businesses are there. So we know we can work with them, and we know we can turn around the revenue and the growth in the economy and the profits so we can share it. And we can be more interdependent rather than being dependent and being at an handicap. And again, I like to leave this. We work with all communities, but our current focus is to help our people to help themselves.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Michael and Anthony, for your time. And I was very amazed with the work you are doing, Michael and Anthony, for Black community, not in only Saskatoon, but all over Canada as well. And this is a great initiative, and I hope people will join tomorrow. Anthony, would you mind like telling people like when will we starting, like, or is there any registration for that
Yes.
program?
So folks can register on Eventbrite.
Okay.
And the link is on our organization Through Their Lives Facebook official Facebook page. You also shared that, I believe, on Voice of Saskatoon page. Thank you for that. So yes, the time will be 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. We will
Okay.
be serving ethnic meal. Most black folks will enjoy what we're gonna serve. I'm sure Michael will be happy. That's gonna be jerk chicken. I seem like, yeah, amen to that. There's gonna be some puff puff for folks coming from the western side of Nigeria or Africa, and there's gonna be meat pie. There's gonna be samosas. Rashid, I think you like the sound of that.
Oh
So
my God, I am just hungry now. I can't wait for tomorrow.
And guess what, guys? We're teaching ourselves. We're learning French as part of what we do because we do know that you get better communication from people when you speak in their own tongues. We saw that when we went to Nunavak, everyone there tried to learn the local language. And so a lot of them can speak in a broken way, but they can speak a lot of the language. So we're going into French community, French building, etc. And I would have loved if I could go there and speak. My presentation, at least half of it, was in French. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We're all learning French because it is part of the official language
that's right.
of Canada.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, thank you so much and good luck for your tomorrow's event. And
Thank you,
yeah,
Rashid. And
we
if
will
I
see
could have
you.
one last word, I think it's also proper to appreciate the government of Canada
Yes.
for this opportunity, for the financial support, and for taking the step in recognizing, the age-long conversation that are pioneers in across the country, and one and some of them include Augustine, Jean Augustine, and a host of others, Honorable Ahmed Hussein, and there's a whole lot of them who continue to champion the cause and speak up. And we thank the government for listening, and we hope this will not be the first and last, but there'll be many more initiative and support. Again, not only to the Black communities in Canada, but to all other ethnic minority groups who have come to make Canada home and
Mhm.
who do their civic duties across the board.
I
Oh,
endorse that 100%, Anthony. Our program started out and it was on good footing, but with the support of the federal government, it's on a better footing. And I often say to them when I meet prior to getting the approval that if we can do so much with so little right now, can you imagine how much more we can do with your support? And it's making a difference. So yeah, all kudos to the federal government for listening and making at least an attempt to make a difference.
That's right.
well, thank you so much and have a good evening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's session and thank you again for your time.
See
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow, Anthony, and see you